your identity is kind of like a thermostat, right? That's a great analogy for it. When you set the thermostat of your house to a certain temperature, how does the thermostat work? Let's say my own right now is 17 degrees Celsius, right? So that means I'm trying to keep it warm because it's warmer than it is outside, right? So outside, let's say it's 12 degrees Celsius. This thing is going to heat up. And then when the room gets to 17 degrees Celsius, it's going to just calm down and just be there. If it tries to go above that 18 degrees or whatever, it calms down again, brings it down to 17. That right there is what identity is. That is why, have you ever noticed where sometimes maybe, let's use your bank account, for example, it gets to a certain level, yeah, and then before you know it again, it's come back down to this level. It's like, what is going on? I was doing so well, right? Or you start a workout program and you're going and it's great. Or like Kelly, she's following all her protocols. And then all of a sudden, it's like, what is wrong with me? Like, first of all, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just not aligned to the kind of person that you need to be in order to live that kind of life, right? You're calling yourself something else and you're trying to be something else. No wonder it feels frustrating to try to build a new habit. So before you go setting a bunch of to-dos and a bunch of, they call it habit stacking, right? Go back and think to yourself, like, who is the kind of person who has this kind of habit? What kind of person do I need to be so that I can actually have and sustain this habit? This is not an easy exercise to do, because when you do that exercise, even you will come to determine within yourself, do I even really want this? Why do I want this? Why do I want to be this kind of person? So that you don't find yourself going from one type of habit to another, trying to build something here, and then you're driving yourself crazy. Because every time you do that, you start, stop, you're eroding your own self-confidence. You make a promise to yourself and then you don't do it. Oh, for the next 1 month, I'm going to eat more veggies every day. Day 4, you're like, oh, please, I'm so tired of this. Because when you hear yourself talking and you hear yourself thinking, you're thinking, please, I'm not a veggie type of person. I'm not a broccoli type of person. Well, how do you plan to sustain a habit of eating broccoli every day or eating greens every day if you think of yourself as, please, I don't have time for that. I'm not that kind of person. Hopefully you're making that connection. But I want to quickly expand on something that I mentioned earlier, which is eroding on your self-confidence. Every time you make a promise to yourself, in fact, I just went live on talking about this on Instagram not too long ago, but every time you make a promise to yourself and you don't keep it, you break your own self-confidence. And then you need to start asking yourself, can I even count on you? Do you have your own back? You cannot answer that question until you solve the identity problem. And when you get to the identity problem and you start asking yourself, why do I want this? When you come up with your reason why, that is your opportunity to raise your standard.